guys, welcome back to Dibs on Half. Today I am so excited to be making this video because we are making the infamous Birria Tacos. And if you don't know what they are, these tacos are literally everywhere right now. Everywhere I look, I see these tacos. So I wanted to try them out. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. So just keep watching and don't you forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Okay, we're gonna start off with this beautiful beef. Now I chose brisket and I'm just washed it with cold water and now I'm just patting it dry, like so. After it's all dried off, I'm gonna cut it into smaller chunks because we're gonna brown these on all sides and it helps it break down faster when cooking. And then you know how I like to do, so I got sugar here, and I'm just gonna sprinkle that over top. Salt. Be generous with the salt. And pepper. I take my tongs here and move them around. And I'm gonna do it again on this side. Sugar. And the sugar actually helps the meat get a nice crust on it when we brown it. So that's why we're doing that. Plus, like I said in past videos, they add sugar to all food most of the time and it tastes delightful. All right, and you always want to season your meat. I know it's gonna be in a pot full of seasoned water, but seasoning the meat is so important. And we're just gonna swirl it around, get all the little leftover pieces on here. All right, now we're gonna move this off to the side. Now I'm gonna slice up my vegetables. So I have a half an onion, white onion, and I have 5 garlic cloves, and these are smaller. If you have giant garlic cloves, I would suggest about 3 maybe. And we're just gonna dice these on up. I'm also gonna slice up, we'll mince up this garlic. While that stovetop thing is heating up, I've grabbed a bowl and I'm gonna put a little bit of flour in here. And salt and pepper. And we're gonna roll the meat around in this flour concoction before we stick it in the pan because flour adds a little bit of a crust to it. It also helps with the sauce to thicken it a little bit. Okay, this pan is a smokin', so I'm gonna grab my meat. vegetable oil in here, about a tablespoon, and grab the meat, and you're just gonna wanna roll the meat around in the flour like so. Guys, ready for this? All right, now this is gonna sizzle up, so stand back. And you want this at a really high temp, so you get a nice crust on that meat. Flip this meat and look at that crust on there. This is what you're gonna want. And make sure you do it on all sides. Once the meat is all nice and brown, let's turn the heat down to medium and just throw all this into your crock pot. And now we're gonna add a little bit more oil. And we're gonna grab the onions. Toss them in there. And give them a little stir around and soften these up. I'm so freaking excited for these tacos. I know these are gonna be amazing. And once these are a little soft, we're gonna add this garlic as well. And give it a nice little stir. Once these onions are about cooked, we're just gonna deglaze the pan with about a cup of beef stock. Because we're building the sauce now, and the sauce, stock, whatever you want to call it, that the beef is going to cook in for 6 hours is the most important part. If your stock is bland or doesn't taste like much or is not good, these tacos aren't going to be good. So you got to make sure that your stock is good. And we're just going to scrape all the little fond off the bottom of this pan, all those little pieces of meat bits that got stuck to it. I'm just gonna throw this into my crock pot. All little pieces. For the next part of the dish, we need to get some guajillo chilies. And I found this at my local grocery store. If you can't find it, there's always Amazon. So I'm gonna throw 3 of these into a pot of water. And then I also have these cascabel peppers, and I'm going to use 2 of these. And throw that in there as well. And you're gonna wanna put this on high heat. So we got the peppers in here, and we're gonna wanna bring this to a boil. Roll the lid on it, and we're gonna wanna boil it for about 10 minutes. until they become soft. Now that the peppers are all nice and soft, I'm gonna take the stems off because nobody wants to blend that. And we're just gonna pour them in here. Ooh. Yes, this one doesn't even have a stem. Did I miss anything? Yep. Like so. We're gonna get a little bit of the juice in there. We also need chipotle chilies. For this adds a little bit of smokiness to the sauce, and I'm gonna put about 2 of them in here. I love chipotle. I think it's probably my favorite pepper just for the smokiness. It has such a like unique, intense flavor. I love chipotle. We also need tomato paste, and I'm just gonna put about 2 tablespoons in there. And I also have a can here of fire roasted diced tomatoes, and this is a 14.5 ounce can, and I'm gonna do about half to start. Yeah, forget it. I'm just gonna pour the whole can in there. We also need about a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of cumin and about a teaspoon of coriander. Do about a teaspoon of Mexican oregano, and I'm gonna do about a half a cup of beef stock. Now remember what I said? This part is the most important part of the whole dish. If you don't grill the meat properly in the beginning, whatever. If you don't do something else that great, whatever. This is the most important part, because if you got a good stock and you don't grill the meat right, it's gonna be sitting in that stock for 6 hours. I mean, it'll still taste good. This is so important, so you make sure you do this part well. So we're gonna throw this on. I should probably add some pepper and salt, right? Okay, we're gonna do a few things of pepper. And then about a pinch of salt. Throw this lid on. And now we're gonna wanna taste it, because you don't wanna make a sauce that's gross and then you just stick it all over your meat and ruin it. So you might as well try to fix it now. This tastes really good. That's good. That's good. I'm actually gonna throw a little bit more of the beef stock in there, just because I wanted a little bit more like brothy and less pasty, and a little bit more salt. That's good. You guys, I'm so freaking excited for this to be over in 6 hours so I can eat it, because this is gonna be amazing. So I have my meat, onions, and garlic in the crock pot, and I'm just gonna pour this sauce in here. And I'm gonna give it a nice little stir around. add a bay leaf to the pot. And I love my new spice drawer. I moved all my spices to a drawer instead of a cabinet, and it's the best thing I ever did. And we're gonna get a little guy because this is not that much meat. So I'm gonna stick like a half a cinnamon stick in here as well. And turn this up to high. Put the lid on and cook for 6 hours. All right guys, we have about 3.5 hours left, and I just tasted this and I pulled out the cinnamon because I think that halfway through is enough of that cinnamon flavor in there. That's really good. So we're gonna wait another 3.5 hours and see what it tastes like then, and if we have to adjust a little. I think it might need a little bit more sugar or honey if you like. Okay, it's been about 6 hours, and now I'm just gonna take all of this meat out so we can shred it because I'm hungry, and I don't know about you, but I'm ready to eat. Once all this meat's shredded, I'm just gonna throw it back into the pot, and we can start constructing our tacos. You're gonna wanna heat a flat-topped skillet to about medium for heat, and then we're gonna take tortillas. Now I'm using flour because corn tortillas always break on me, and I'm too hungry for all that. I'm not trying to, you know, waste a bunch of tortillas. So you dip it in the sauce and throw it on the pan. And you're gonna wanna wait a couple seconds. And take a little look at the bottom of it here. Flip it on over. Can't help roasting me. Now we add the cheese. Now we gotta go grab the meat. Get a nice heaping amount and throw it on there. Ooh, don't want that bay leaf. And now we're gonna fold this on over. Cook it up. Do a little flip. Doesn't that look beautiful? Don't they look so good? These look good. And then I just threw a little bit of cilantro in there. Dunk this sauce. These are so good.
Did you start eating them?
Yeah, why? Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos.